So we're going to talk about some word problems, but before we talk about how to write like written expressions and that type of stuff, you need to know some words that they're going to use in place of like the plus sign. So if they're describing an addition problem, they're going to use words like more than, some, plus, increased by, and added to. Increased by is a common one. Some is a common one. Okay, make sure you memorize that because that's the most common one. They use like the answer to an addition problem is a sum. The answer to a subtraction problem is difference. That type of stuff. They're gonna ask that a lot. So make sure you know those. All right, write this one down. All right, for a subtraction problem, they're going to use these words: difference, decreased by, minus, less than, subtracted from, and fewer than. Here's these right here. These three are the most common, and they do it because you have to have there's a little thought process involved. Hey, when you see the word less than, the words less than, what you have to do is you have to reverse the order. So what they're going to say, if they had a problem like this, they would write it as 3 is less than 4. We'll see how the order was switched. They said 3 first, but is that what goes first here? No. So when I'm writing it out numerically, I switch the order. I reverse the order. So I would say 3 is less than 4, and I'd write 4 minus 3. Okay. Same thing as subtracted from. 3 is subtracted from 4. I have to switch the order there. Okay, 3, even though I read 3 before 4, 3 comes after. Same thing with fewer than. For subtraction, these are the most common because you have to do that, because you have to switch it up. Alright, these, okay, any of those 4, it's just, this would be the difference of 4 and 3. 4 decreased by 3, 4 minus 3, 4 less 3. You just write it how you read it. But these you have to switch it up. So they're going to use these more than anything else. All right, write these words down. For multiplication, these are what they'll write: product, times, or of. Of is a common one. That either means fraction of, percent of, or decimal of. Anytime you see of, that's a multiplication problem. All right. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Just like difference was the answer to a subtraction problem, and sum is the answer to an addition problem, product is the answer to a multiplication problem, and that is a common one. They'll say, what is the product of 4 and 3? So when you see that, you know it's 4 times 3. All right, any questions? And here's division. Write these down. These are about the only two they use for division. Quotient and divided by quotient is the answer to a division problem. So most of the time, if they want you to divide something, they'll say, what is the quotient of 12 and 3? So you write 12 divided by 3 because you know quotient is the answer to a division problem. Or they could simply say divided by, but that's a little too easy. They're not going to use that. They're going to say the quotient 99% of the time. Any questions? Write these 3 written expressions down. So what they'll do is they'll give you these sentences or these written expressions, and they'll say translate into a numerical expression. Write it out as a math problem. So a number less than 8. I look back in my notes. I see that less goes with subtraction. So I write it just how I see it. A number. So I'm going to call. Let's say a number is in. Less. So less would be my subtraction sign. 8. So I'd write it just how I see it. In minus 8. I go through and I see a number less than 8. Well, so I look through my notes. I see that less than is a subtraction problem, but it has a reverse order beside it. So what I do is I write what comes in front or behind in front. So I switch 8 with in. So I write 8 minus in. See the difference? Anyone have any questions about that? Don't mess that up because they'll throw this at you 1,000 times throughout the year. Okay? I mean, even like into April, you'll be doing problems where they say less than. a number times 8, that would be a multiplication problem. So I would do n times 7. Or I could write n times 7 like this, which you will never see us doing here because we use x as a variable a lot. So this is the most common that you would see. N times 7 or 7n. Okay? Every one of those means the exact same thing. And does order matter in a multiplication problem? No. All right. Any questions? Write those out. I want you to answer it. So we've got the product of a number and 2. So I look through my notes. I see that product is an answer to the multiplication problem. So I'm going to multiply a number and 2, which for number I'm going to call x. And I'm going to times that with 2. Now the order doesn't matter in multiplication, so I can write it as 2x or x times 2, however I want. I like this because it's the less I have to write. I could write it like this, or this, or this. This one I find is easiest to do, and this is the most common one we'll do all year. 30 divided by m to the 4th power. Right? Several different ways of writing it. 30 divided by m raised to the 4th power. But most of the time, this year and on, we don't write the division sign. It's kind of like the multiplication sign. We don't use it after 7th grade. We write it as a division problem because it's the exact same thing. Right? Again, it doesn't matter for today's notes or today's homework, but just be aware of how they're going to write stuff 99% of the time. Any questions? Alright, write those down. So they give me y squared minus 15. Y squared, okay, squared is a common saying for raised to the 2nd power. Minus 15. So I write it just like that. 2/3 of a number, I'd write just like this. 2/3 times x, or 2/3 times n, or whatever I want to put for the variable. Any questions? Alright, here's your homework. Okay, it's not as many problems as you think. However, pay attention. If you see one that's circled, okay, problem number 54 circled, I want you to write out an explanation of the answer, whether it's showing what you did, or sometimes they'll say explain how you got it right. 2 to 3 sentences, complete sentences explaining what you did. Any questions?